I sing this song because I don't know better. I never went to school, but I got my letter. I played on the team and I threw some good hoop. Because when it comes to cutting school, yeah, I know the scoop. I'm poor, I'm black, got roaches and rats. If you're looking for a lover, baby, come to me. Because I'm the best damn lover you will ever see. I am the giver and the taker and the king of rock. But baby, stay away if you wear dirty socks. I'm wild and kinky, you're stupid and stinky. If you think you're bad, nigga, honey, stay awake. Cause I am not in the mood for your bullshit today. I am a lover, not a fighter soul. I just wanna get laid. I'm fresh, stay and smooth. And smooth. I'm the master of the groove. I've been walking up and down these streets so long, trying not to see what's really going wrong. Then one day it hit me like a brick in the head. If someone doesn't change, we're gonna end up dead.
Like after my 11th birthday, I started to grow my mohawk, and I cut me into a mohawk, and I started wearing, I stole me a leather jacket. So I started hanging out, and I went through my mohawk, then combs, Liberty spikes, bristles, and I shaved my head, and I became bald for a while. And then I met some skinheads, and I learned the attitude, and I became a skin. And I've been a skin. I'm 15 now. I've been a skin for about a year, and I don't plan on changing it for nobody. A lot of people consider me the little brother because I'm pretty young, and I'm small, but because I get along with practically everybody. A lot of times you get sick on the streets, or you run out of money, or you're hungry, you have no place to go. And people that care about you consider you part of the family because they don't really have a real one. They take care of each other. We sleep in abandoned buildings because there's nowhere to go. We eat whatever we can eat. We get really close on the streets because you all got the same problems, and you learn to understand each other and care about each other. I met Marianne a while ago. She's been a punk forever. She's really pretty. She's got long blonde hair, and she's just learning to like herself, But she's a really good person, and I love her a lot.
We were all each other's moms and dads and sisters and brothers because we all stuck up for each other. We all did things together. We all did things like a family would. We would always go to the soup kitchen in the morning, soup places and stuff. We'd always be there. And we just, we'd drink together. Some of us would sleep together. We did everything together, and that's why it seemed like so much like a family, and everybody looked out for each other.
We all live in a cheap hotel, a cheap hotel, a cheap hotel. We all live in a cheap hotel, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
And cut around to the friends all live there too. Most all of them are black and blue. They send the dogs, they send the cops, and we just run and hop.
It was a huge building. It was like an old abandoned school building, and I guess they closed it down in 1977 because asbestos was falling from the roof, and I guess it was getting into people's lungs, and they were getting sick or something like that,
Polly was my creation in my palace. I felt as though it was the best thing I ever did in my life. Well, a number of us found it on a really rainy night, and it was a place to stay. We never thought we'd stay too long, but it was so eerie and so big and so beautiful inside here, we decided to stay. So it became a challenge to stay inside and live in here. This is my original room. Danger, Mad Max's room. Do not enter without knocking. It wasn't like a divided squat where half is a different gang and the other half's another one. There was mohawks, there was skins, there was trendies, there was everything.
Well, Uva called it the boat, you know, but it was like this mattress, and we all used to cuddle up and sleep on it and stuff.
I didn't Polytech uniform, the choir robes, hard hat, lead pipe. That's what Red Dog wore when me and Uva got married in Polytech. It was fucking great. We had like all the punks from Hate and Pal and all the hippies and everything, and they're like the bachelor party.
Uva had a fucking spear. You guys.
I know he had the pipe. No, and okay, like we had the shower was like in the costume room, and everyone's putting up my hair. La 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 la. And Uva's downstairs having a bachelor party drinking, and like these hippies are like, here, you look a little nervous, it's your wedding day, fucking give me phenobarbital and shit. And then like Marion Swamp Thing, she had just happened to get a wedding dress that day, so I had to wait. It was too small, so I couldn't zip it in the back, so I wore my leather over it. And Uva comes in, he's wearing a noose, he's all, do I look dapper? I'm all, of course, then someone gave him a red bow tie, so we're standing there, and Red Dog's got the choir, we couldn't find the choir, but he had the hard hat and the lead pipe, and it went to like, dearly demented, we are gathered here unsightly and drunk, and tennis balls do bounce, and do you, Mohican what's-her-bucket, take skinhead Uva through fucking staph infections, and gonorrhea, and do you take skinhead Uva, take Mohican what's-her-bucket through bitch fights and crabs, and what's May's number? All sorts of other shit. And then he was supposed to say, and now by the power invested in me through the state of confusion, I pronounce you man and wife. And he goes, and now, because I'm Red Dog, and I'm the dean. And he body slammed us, and everyone dogpiled on top of us. And then they started throwing crackers and bricks instead of rice.
Lots of people started coming there, and it started becoming a real hot place to be. And it was really, sometimes really hard. Because the people would abuse, they'd break the glass and they'd make it real loud, and the police would come and they'd always get arrested. But myself, opening the place up myself and finding all the different places to squat, I never got busted myself because I always had the safest places, but there was always the time when you were scared anyway when you knew they were there. I spent a lot of time hiding for days and sometimes on end, frying on acid. Polytech was a very scary thing, but it was a place to live, and it gave us the chance to do things we wanted to do and live like we wanted to live and have our own community. It was working fine, then the cops started coming in and destroying us, and it was like, we weren't doing anything to hurt anything. We weren't flattening people's tires.
What happened was, like, over a period of 3 months, like, about every 2 months they'd send the dogs in, and like the dogs? Yeah, the cop dogs. They come in, and stuff like that. And like, sorry, this is bringing back like a whole rush of memories for me. And like, anyways, I'm sorry, I'm like, what was I talking about?
The dogs.
Yeah, okay. And like they'd send the dogs in and stuff, and like over a period of 3 months, the cops came in, like first it was just like, like once every 2 weeks, and it became like, they kept coming in, until it was like every single night they came in, and it wasn't safe to stay in the building.
That's cold little blood.
So, like, where's my sip of that train, honey? I think so. Ride on the train. What's in that? What you think I'm out there? Come on, bitch. Shit, trying to keep me off the book.
And I come down to Powell Market or something and sit on a bench, and a cop comes up and he's like, you filthy scum, man, why don't you fucking get out of here and just fucking go die? Like, why? Why should I die,
You want to sit here and fight with me, argue with me, that's fine. Okay? If you want a ticket and you come back, I know what your name is. No loitering or sleeping. right? $76. You want to fight with me? Fight with me. I'll just give you all tickets. I don't really care. So anyway, you go to your appointment. You disappear.
Money in a dance? But I'm not doing good, okay? It's about you can take a picture. Come on,
Hi, Jimmy. Hi,
oh, okay. Alright, can I come close to you? Come on, take another one, quick. Tiene que avanzar la película. Avance la película. Wait. Take another one.
Check out my hair is sick, yeah. That's what I think is the funny thing about like having real outrageous hair is because, you know, people sit there and they have the cartoons, you know, tell a friend, I use Germac, you know, blah, 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 and they spend hours trying to look acceptable. Well, I say, well, fuck that, you know, I'll spend even more time trying to look unacceptable. One of the main things about punk, other people have remarked on this, is like, you know, you feel like you can't be accepted anywhere, or you feel like you're shit. So you say, okay, if I'm shit, I'm going to be real shit. You know, which is what I did. It's like, okay, I'm a freak, watch. Watch how freaky I can get. I'm hungry. You are what? Come on, Mom, I haven't eaten in 4 days. You kicked me out last month, remember? I feed you, I clothe you since you were a baby, and what do I get? Funny hair and no respect. Well, here, you can have some Life cereal. Ping! Good. Thanks, Mom. Life, you saved our life. What life can do for your child.
How old were you when you first colored your hair? 12. 12? Yeah, I bleached it. That's where I got my name, Seaweed. This when I looked like that with the green hair. And people were always making their comments and everything, so, you know. I was trying to get people to, you know, like when I first shaved my head, I was trying to get people to stay away from me. Well, that was like my first public high school. And I was in lots of culture shock. I'd been living in squats and been in group homes and juvenile hall and Napa and all those institutions. You know, there I go. You know, I'm fucking walking into this really middle-class public school with a 1-foot mohawk. You know, and all these kids are screaming and spitting on me. I kind of learned to cope with people's shit. That was a time where I learned to deal with it. You know, where I would have just said fuck you and fucking rather knock their teeth down the throat.
Come on, generators. There they are. They didn't think of themselves.
We saw you over there and we yelled at you.
Yeah, not.
Sit down and take a picture.
Mike used to just wear his head shaved and, you know, his little Jewish symbols and his Nazi symbols and all that crap, you know, and I used to wear green hair and a wedding dress and combat boots. Yeah, and chains and stuff like that.
Feel better.
This is one of the last articles of clothing I had left from my high school days.
Do you remember the time of 69? Seeing all the skinheads standing in a line.
I can never really play music in Poly, but for a long time to earn money to feed myself and feed my family for a while, I used to play cardboard boxes on Powell Street. People from far away would say, God, that sounds just like drums. Basically, music is my life. My life revolves around music. I spend all of my time playing music and composing music and doing things for music to help me. It's a way of getting my stress out. I mean, if I'm really angry, the best thing to do is get on them drums and just play and just get all your aggressions out. It's better than going out and beating somebody up. It doesn't get you nowhere. when I was about 11 years old, I got arrested for not being at home in late hours of the night. They took me down to juvenile hall in the open cottages, and finally my mother came in and got me. I lasted about, I don't know, 6, 7 months, and then I left again. And I was gone for a while this time. I just had it with life. It seemed like my mother never cared, so I got busted in a stolen car, and they took me up to juvenile, and they let me go to the open cottages again, and they said if they ever seen me again, they'd arrest me. So after that happened, I just stayed away from the cops for a long time, and then I got busted squatting, which is another word for trespassing in an abandoned building. They took me to juvenile and kept me there for 2 months until my mother could come take me. Mother finally took me home for the last time and said she'd never do it again, and I took off because I just couldn't handle the stress there. There was not enough money, not enough nothing. It just seemed like it was empty and there was no more relationship. So I took off and started hanging out and up on Haight Street and Powell Street and having a good time and trying to stay away from trouble. And this one thing left to another and another, and I ended up getting caught, and they took me to juvenile again. So I had made a suicidal attempt, which was not true, just to get out of the juvenile hall. And they sent me to Macaulay's neuropsychiatric institution right off of Clayton. And they kept me there about 14 days the first time and let me go to my mother again, and my mother just couldn't handle me. And I left, and I've been busted twice since then and put in Macaulay's. And, yeah, they gave me Thorazine because they said that I was hyper, and they said I needed to sleep. And I said that I can go to sleep myself, and they said, well, you should take this medicine, it should help you.
Thorazine, it looks like this and tastes like gasoline. They give it to you when you're feeling mean. Thorazine.
They threatened me with Napa, and I'm only 16 years old, and I really don't think Napa is quite a place to spend the rest of your life, and that's the way they were sounding. So I got real scared and took off, and here I am right now.
Most of the kids, a lot of them were like, they're just runaways, you know, and they've usually had a pretty fucked up home life.
Lots of times are that they are sexual victims, and it makes for a particular kind of kid, one who either attempts to deal with it by perpetrating violence or sexual abuse towards others, or one who has a very difficult time relating and attaching to someone else because they don't know what's expected of them. It makes them feel frightened to be in places where they can't escape from, because that's kind of the mode they operate under. You know, oh, Dad's home, I might as well get it over with. Maybe I should let him hit me now, or do what he's going to do to me now, so I don't have to wait around for it all night, or I can run.
If your parent is frequently drunk and beats you, there's a certain point when it's actually healthy to say, I'm not going to tolerate this, I'm not going to accept this situation, I'm getting out of here. Or if your parent has been forcing you to engage in sexual activity with them, to have you orally copulate the parent, there's a certain point when a child may just say, that's it, I've had it. And you don't lose a lot by running.
If the pain and the guilt are intolerable, you either bury yourself in drugs, or maybe you make big cuts in your arm to distract yourself from what you experience.
I cut on my arm because I don't know what else to do. Or I do a lot of drugs, you know. I try drugs whenever is available.
You do your hit, and it's the automatic relief. It's a euphoric rush. It's a feeling of happiness. It's a feeling of I feel I'm born again. I'm relived. I feel better. But when you start to come down, you feel like you're dying, and then you're reborn again. It's a constant cycle.
I think drugs are the stupidest fucking thing that you can fucking do, you know? I mean, you can drink. I like to drink. I'm an alcoholic.
These kids wear their alienation. It's very obvious when you look at them in their clothes and their hair and their dress and in their style. They don't feel comfortable with the general social group. They feel out of place. And they emphasize that in the way that they carry themselves. So they form a little subculture, a little subgroup, which within itself attempts to take care of each other and maintain itself.
There is a certain kindredship. It seems like a lot of us have had that kind of abuse, and a lot of us have just had plain physical abuse, and a lot of us have had the mental, you're shit, you're possessed, all that kind of shit, you know.
There's not much to tell about my parents. My dad's an alcoholic, can't control his temper, likes to beat me up. And my mom's a born again, who fucking threw me out, you know, she can't deal with me. So, and then she, like, marries a lot of stepfathers that beat me up and shit. I don't know. They're both fucked and I hate them. And, like, my whole family hates me because of what my mom and dad say, what an asshole I am, so they all hate me. So, fuck, I guess.
My mother loved our dogs, Lady and the Nook, more than she loved me, basically. If there was food to be eaten, she'd starve her and myself and feed them, because she figured that they had more of a right to live than I did.
I just had this striking image of this woman who came in with her head shaved like his, a little out there, and had on a tiger t-shirt, and the two eyes were these, you know, mock jewels that were right on her breast. And she spent the whole time talking about the dogs.
It's like we sit around and we bullshit with each other, and we like kind of tell each other why our fucked reason for leaving home was, you know, why our parents are fucked, or why we're here, you know, why we're with each other. You know, and a lot of people bullshit. They won't say the real reasons why, you know. You're drinking, your tongue's loosening up a little bit, you know, and a lot of shit will come out. You know, it's like I was never incestually molested. However, I was molested by my next door neighbor, and I totally blocked that out of my mind, totally, for my God, years.
A Sadobaby is basically yourself and how you were abused when you were a child, and how you thought your parents abused you.
A Sadobaby is some kind of doll, you know, little doll, that you dress up as close to your personality as you can.
What I did to my Sadobaby was I cut its hair, and I gave it a mohawk, and I put it up, and I put some makeup on it, you know, and a few safety pins through its head. I mean, now each individual person designs their own Sadobaby. Right. And if they get mad, they can throw their Sadobaby against the wall.
But just every one of my friends has a doll they can abuse. And it makes life more interesting. Then you can get your aggression out on the dolls. You can molest them, do all the things you wouldn't do to a real person. Well, some people do, but the dolls are just a way of getting back at people. Like, I get really irritated with people, I just take out the dolls.
If I had a Sadobaby, I'd probably beat it up with a hairbrush, stick it out in the rain when it were cold, and starve it if it could eat. And that's basically what my mother did to me for many years, and I'd sit it on the street to make money.
See, this is what Sadobabies are for. So you drop kick them, right?
That's right.
Drop him again, right? Backwards. Then when he's laying on the ground, you stomp on him like this a few times, right? Make sure he's got a nice headache. Turn him around a little bit like this. Take him in the other hand, right? And this is when you really boot him.
Careful, it doesn't go onto the other side.
Then after you beat up your Sadobaby, you take what beer he was drinking, right? Because he's a dog. As you can see, he doesn't drink, right? You drink his beer for him, and then when you get drunk, you start to abuse him again. Since this beer is empty, I can't really get drunk, so... Take the Sadobaby and throw him against the wall one time.
The manager's downstairs watching this.
Sadobaby still looks alive, doesn't he? I mean, he's happy, he's excited. He knows what's happening. His mohawk's a little messed up, but he can handle, right? So you got to make sure he gets really depressed and upset. So you throw him against the roof. He hits the ground. Why aren't you at home? You're drunk. Who says you could drink? Where are you? Get to your room. Don't sleep when I'm talking to you. Stand up and take it like a man. What? Get in the house right now.
talk and have a good time, listen to music. When I'm not home, they mess up my room. And then that's when they get the extra abuse, you know, you just kind of, you go. And they just, yeah, you can twist this one really good. But they're great, you know, wear and tear wise, everything. Just scrub things with your heads. And the best thing is the noise they make. It's kind of like when you throw them against the wall, and then they slide really nicely. And I usually let them out here during a rainstorm and give them a hanging like this. You always have to have little nails around so they can hang. And you know, do all kinds of horrible things to them. And it's when they're really bad. And this dolly here gets the knife. She gets really bad. She gets like that. That's her toy. She likes that one a lot. It's a little rusty, so we can't use it on the food, but we use them on the dolls because they're not special. You just do all kinds of things like that. Otherwise, when they're not in use, we just sit them down like this and they talk to them. Marion, can I see the other baby?
Oh, here.
This one gets raped all the time. It likes it.
What was that?
This dog gets raped. You take its clothes off. Do all kinds of really weird things to it. Take the dress off. It's next to it. It's a long ways down, but sometimes I'm afraid to throw them, but even though I feel like it sometimes, I'd like to throw them down one day when I get tired and get some new ones when they really get worn out. But they've been holding up so well. They're just wonderful.
And a Sadobaby is basically your worst feeder in life, or maybe your most frightening moment that you ever had, you make your Sadobaby do. In other words, maybe your Sadobaby is your parents, and maybe what you want to do to your parents for what the abuse they've given you. Basically, the abuse I've gotten has been pretty bad in my life, but I still can't hate my mother that much to make a Sadobaby out of her.
I mean, what can you say when your dad fucks with you all the time and doesn't ever fucking leave you alone, and your fucking mom, you know, sees you as a threat to her marriage, you know. And I mean you want to be where you feel like you belong, you know, and most people that are on the streets, you know, like their family situations, they felt like they didn't belong. People, they kind of find each other on the streets and they form their own families.
It was so, I guess, unrespectable by what they say, you know, why don't you live with your parents? Some people have problems with their parents, some people need a place to stay, so I never understood why they were so down on it. And it was just a regular old Polytech family.
I went to a local community college. I went there for 1 year, and then I went that summer, and then the following year, which is this year, I've been in school. And I got 1B the whole time. I was in algebra. Not my favorite thing. But other than that, I've been getting straight A's. I've been in AA for 4.5 years, sober in AA, and but it's only been for the past 2.5 years that I've actually worked the steps in AA, which are the suggested program of recovery. I tried to do it previous to that, but I wasn't able to yet. It took what it took. It wasn't until I finally asked God for help that anything changed. everything just started happening for me when I surrendered. My parents absolutely did the best they could, which I can't say that for every kid's parents, but I know that's true of my parents. My parents did the best they could with what they were handed, and in fact, the more I've looked at my life, the more I see they've done okay. Of all the kids, one of the reasons I'm probably doing so well is because I don't think my life was as bad as theirs. I acted out in a way where I abused other people. I mean, I abused myself as well, very much, but not in the severe ways that the other children do or did, and I know that it's because I wasn't abused to the extent they were. Joey was always who I always call him my little brother. I call him my little brother to this day. I love Joey, oh, so much, because he seemed, in a way, more vulnerable than some of the kids. I don't know, he didn't have some of the like extra walls that the other kids did, and I did, right? And so I totally wanted to protect him and, you know, make sure nothing bad ever happened to him. And of course I couldn't, but I mean, I did what I could.
Got a primal urge. John McAllister.
I got some more too.
Where? What'd you get? Oh, cool. Zito, it's nice. I was loving that. Where'd you get the moon?
Well, I'll start with the name. The name of my band is the Insaints, and it's sort of a combination of saint and crazy. My music really taps into this big pool of emotion that's already inside of me. The Losers Club goes, I try and try, but it always seems in this big bad world of people, places, and things, that shit happens everywhere and gets in the way of what I care, and I am a loser. Come join the Losers Club. We are the users. Come join it now. What is it? Is it a girl or a boy? It's a loser! This is the sign of the loser here. The sign of the loser. And basically, a loser is someone in the world that they try and they try, you know, but shit happens, you know. So, you know, it's really, they try. At least they try. Or they try once in a while. And then there's the Victims Club. And a victim basically is someone who goes out of their way for shit happening, you know. So in essence, they sort of fool themselves into thinking that they tried, you know, because they were going out of the way for shit happening. So, you know, they're a victim, though.
I don't feel like I'm a victim. I don't feel like I was victimized by my parents. I don't feel like I was victimized by anything. I think that I had my part in everything that happened to me, and that my solution, which hasn't just been getting off the street and getting my life together, it's been truly living a happy life.
I have a lot of different songs that I write. I mostly write about things that relate to me personally, and so I write about all kinds of things. I have one song called Sick, and it's actually about people like my father.
This is a song about if you treat your woman bad, they're gonna fucking light you on fire because you're a stupid shithead. So, drugs, hepatitis.
What's happened to me since the last Sadobabies movie. A lot of different things have happened. I got married to a guy that was in my band, and I got pregnant. When I was 8 months pregnant, we lost our apartment. We were on welfare. We had a lot of trouble economically, and so after 6 months of moving around with a little baby, we decided that it would be in her best interest to find her parents that could take care of her. And that was very hard because I wanted to keep her. I got really depressed and I went on a binge for like a year and a half. We used a lot of drugs and alcohol during that time and fucked myself up pretty good because I was very unhappy, and because I tried to have a family of my own and failed. I've never been comfortable in my body. As long as I can remember, either someone else has been abusive to my body or I've been abusive to my body. This is our sticker. Daniel made it. Meat Market. But the logo that I really want to use, that I'm going to be painting on the back of my jacket, and I want to turn into a t-shirt. It's going to be Jesus in bondage on a cross, and he's going to sort of have that look of angst, you know, that one where he's looking up at the sky. You know, you can't tell if it's pleasure or pain look, and he's going to have a heart on. I don't have a lot of options. SSI enabled me to get off the street, you know, because I was turning tricks on the street. That's how I was supporting myself, getting money.
Did you make any money from doing music?
No. Well, right now, I work as a dominatrix in an S&M house. I do all of my session work in a privately owned home. There is sexual contact, but very careful. I don't allow any exchange of bodily fluids. We are a bondage and discipline, fantasy, you know, role-playing. We provide that service. I had one guy last week that he was a submissive aggressive, and he wanted, I guess what you would call a more complicated session. He wanted, you know, at least he thought he wanted something, but maybe he didn't know what his limitations were. And he was novice, and so I gave him some safe words. And I told him we would explore the different areas with respect to his limitations, and that he just had to use the safe words. So I did the whole range on him. And he said he wanted a more complicated session. He wanted heavy humiliation, bondage and discipline, S&M with a brown shower, which is a pretty heavy session, which is, but anyways, I did the whole thing on him, and he never used his safe words, and I had him tied up, and I was about to do a brown shower on him, and he turned on me, and he just said, "Get away from me, I'm gonna fucking kill you, get away from me," you know, and it was really, you know, I was just like, I do like being a top, and I do like having that power, you know, it's a thrill for me, you know, and I like it. But my problem that I've been having with it more so lately is that I've been getting really into the having my own personal anger come out in the sessions, and it stops being a fantasy for me, and I start really, and I've been scaring people for real. So I haven't had any drugs or alcohol in a year and a half, and I tried to do AA, but it didn't really work for me because there's people that don't understand the concept of being sober but not straight, which I'm definitely not a straight person, and I don't think I ever will be, no matter how clean and sober I get.